I'm going to be working on my blue butterfly pea today, extracting some of the seeds, transplanting some of the little seedlings, and sharing some basics with you. Hi, I'm Elise. I'm glad you stopped by. This is the blue butterfly pea, and it is a vine. It's a bean. It is in the same family as our beans and peas. It is Clitoria ternata. Common names: Asian pigeon wings, bluebells, butterfly pea, Darwin pea, all kind of names. It is considered tropical, but you can grow it as an annual in cooler weather. I'm in zone 9B. Even here, after a couple of years, it dies back. In fact, this year, or the end of last season, I went ahead and I took out all my scraggly looking plants. And that's what I like to do. Every couple of years, I replant and get fresh and new vines. It's known for its beautiful striking flowers. I mean, they're cobalt blue and light green foliage. Makes a beautiful combination. I don't have any of the plants in bloom right now, but I am going to put lots of flower photos up on the screen for you. Now, it's known as an annual or a tender perennial. You can always start your seeds off early and then plant your seedlings out. After your last anticipated frost date, grow them in containers or put them in the ground. So if you are harvesting your seeds, let your seed pods stay on until they turn brown and then harvest them. Make sure that your seeds and your seed pods are extremely dry before you store them. Now, the blue butterfly pea also comes in a version that is white, the white butterfly pea. Pollinators like it. It has so many benefits, I could talk for hours about it. Even the used seed pods, these are going into my vermicompost bed. Tiny little hard seeds. Now, if you're going to plant a seed, all you have to do, get the seed potting mix of your choice and lay the seed down in it, lightly cover it up. Now, I'm not going to plant lots of seeds today, and I'll show you why in just a moment, but I did want you to see the seeds. So the growth habit of the plant is full sun, a little afternoon shade if you live in a really hot area. It is a vine, so it needs support, a trellis, a fence, grow it up a tree. It will put out copious amounts of beautiful cobalt blue blossoms. After the blossom finishes, it will start setting seed pods. At first, the seed pod is green and it's soft, and that's when I like to eat the little beans out of it. You can't eat the beans after they've gotten hard and dark. So if you do want to eat them, you can eat them when they're young and green and fresh. The beans, I've never eaten the pods. And you can put them in your salads and your stir fries. And you can eat them raw, put them on a vegetable platter, anything you want to do with them. The flowers themselves are edible. And they make that really well-known blue chai tea. Okay, medicinal properties. There are just absolutely pages of medicinal properties. If you want to look into that, please do so. If you plan on eating it, please do your own research also. But I will say this, I do like to come out and nibble on the leaves, the fresh green leaves. They have this aftertaste of a green apple to me. All very healthy, but again, do your own research. So it is edible, ornamental, good for the pollinators. Medicinal, makes blue chai tea. Wonderful, wonderful plant. Easy to grow. Save your seeds. Next year, plant you out some fresh ones. Fairly disease and insect resistant. It is not invasive at all. I've never had a problem with it being invasive. Actually, I wouldn't mind if it was. Now, I do grow this a white version, and I also have a double blue version that I grow. But the one I grow the most is this single cobalt blue. And again, I'll put photos up for you. So harvest your seeds when the pods are browned and crisp. I don't know if you can hear that. To store them, if you want to rinse them off, you can, or just let them lay out and make sure they're extremely dry and store them any way you store seeds, in a paper bag, in a plastic bag, jar, container, anything. They hold their viability a very long time. Now, I will share this with you because it kind of came up the other day with someone that I read online. Not every seed in the whole world is going to give you 100% germination. It just doesn't happen. There's nothing wrong with the seed. That's just part of nature. There are some seeds you're lucky if you get 30, 40, 50% germination rate. And then there are other seeds you'll get 80 or 90%. And yes, of course, there are some seeds that you're going to get 100% germination rate. So when you get that, celebrate. Okay, I'm going to lay these aside and I'll show you why I'm not planting any more seeds. All right. These are the young seedlings of the blue butterfly pea. All I did was I soaked my seeds a little bit, just in room temperature water, enough to hydrate them. I think I soaked mine, well, you know, I may have even left them overnight because I forgot them. Don't leave them too long though. But 4 or 5 hours is fine. You just want to hydrate them a little bit. If you want to soak them overnight, that's fine too. As you saw, they're very little hard seeds. And I just took a handful and I just scattered across this container. If you're using containers like this, make sure you have really good drainage systems. And I have some pots made up, and I'm using these little recyclable drink cups because they're fantastic for seeds and young seedlings. They last season after season, and you can write right on here what's in here. Just make sure you have lots of good drainage holes. To get your drainage holes, you can use a little drill, any sharp implement that you can puncture some holes in. I quite often, you may have seen it in other videos, I take a pair of scissors and I just actually snip sections off the bottom. So whatever you want to do. Now these are a little damp because we had hours and hours of really needed rain yesterday. But that's okay. I'm still going to start the transplant process. This is about as big as I want them to get to transplant them. These first 2 little seeds are not the true seeds. What you want is a second or even a third layer of seeds. And you can see there's more seeds, leaves, and there's more leaves coming. And this is going to start putting out a little vine. So again, you need support to remove them from a container like this. Now you don't have to use a container like this. You can go ahead and plant your seeds out, single cells, little plots, whatever you want to do. If I were planting them in this cup, I would put 2. I would put one on one side, one seed on one side, and one seed on the other side. Then when they got big enough to transplant out, they would be extremely easy to separate. Even in here, they're easy to separate. But all you do is just lay the seed down on top of the soil, put a little soil on top, and all you need is a little bit, because you saw those are really nice, small seeds. Gently press so that you get good seed to soil contact. Put it somewhere warm, don't let it dry out. To remove these, you can use your hands, you can use a little spade, you can use a spoon, you can use a fork, you can use whatever you want to do. You can transplant these when the soil is wet, or you can transplant them when the soil is dry. It is up to you. So all I'm going to do is just take my hand and go down and grab a clump. Just lightly separate them out. Nice little root system. If any of the dirt hangs on, that's fine. And I'm just going to lay them over in a container. Use any container you want to. If you've got enough containers and soil, go ahead and put them in a larger container. Now, I am going to take some of these larger ones and just plant them out in the ground. But that's all there is to it. And I'm not going to plant every single one of them right now. If they're kind of small, you can always put 2 to a container. If it's dry, a lot of times you can just come back and snug it in. But since this is wet, the soil is a little compacted, I can't do that. So I just laid it on top, and I didn't fill the cups completely full, or I tried not to. And I'll come back and backfill, snug it in. And there we have a perfect little seedling. The seedlings will go in indirect bright light for a few days until they harden off some. And harden off just simply means getting them used to brighter sunlight by moving them out into brighter sunlight a little bit every day or so. Borrow some of this soil. And I do have quite a few here. I'm going to make a whole bed of them in the ground though. You can use the blue butterfly pea for privacy fence. So lots of uses. I have had these vines get 12, 15 feet tall. And I'm going to put them up against a fence. It's just a chicken wire fence between a couple of posts. It's kind of in the back. It's really not seen that much, so I don't have to worry about aesthetics right away. And after a while, it doesn't matter, because when these vines start growing and cover that fence, you won't see the fence anyway. But give them room. I'm going to plant some about a foot apart, which is kind of close, but I want a nice solid curtain of the vines. Nice. Really good little root systems. Nice and green and healthy. I have some friends that want some. That's one of the reasons why I planted more. That's it. And I'll finish the rest. Blue butterfly pea makes fantastic gifts. You can use them for trade. You can use them for barter. You can use them for exchange. You can grow them out for yourself. If you plan this right, and you start growing your plants a little earlier so that they get a little taller and they start blooming. And if you have a place where you can have plant sales, farmers markets, things like that, these make a great cash crop. They will start blooming, if they're happy, in as little as 4 to 6 weeks. That's really fast for a plant. So I anticipate these aren't going to stay in these little pots for very long, but I did want to go ahead and get them out of here. That way they're easier to separate the roots when they're younger and less stress. Now I will probably put these in my little plant spa, and that's just a container where I put some liquid. I'll put a little Epsom salts in, about a tablespoon per gallon. Epsom salts has lots of magnesium, and it will help the plant with stress plant shock. That's how easy it is. Then in about, a week or so, I'll come back. I'll give them some diluted DIY liquid fertilizer that we make out of vegetation. So that's it. I'll finish the rest in just a few minutes. but I wanted to share with you the basics of this blue butterfly pea. Now, if you have time, go in and look at all the great benefits. Now, I mean, I'm not a herbal channel, but I have studied all the benefits from this plant because it is so interesting. What else could you ask for from a plant? Well, actually, there's something else. This plant is really good to plant in poor soil. It helps improve nitrogen. Again, it's in the legume family. And it is planted in lots of areas that has poor soil. So, here's all these fantastic benefits. And it's supposed to help your hair grow. How about that? I haven't tried it. Like I said, I do eat a few of the green beans, and I will come out and I will eat a leaf or two. And here's a little one just coming up. It still has the seed pod left on it. Nice. All right, I'm going to get busy. I've got some more cups prepared, and I want to get all these out. And then I'm going to put some in the ground. I would show you that, but right now I don't have the area cleaned out, and it's clouding up to rain. So I'm going to do about half of these in cups, and the other half I'm going to save to put out in the ground. And I have a couple of places throughout the landscape that I want to put them because they are so great for pollinators. Disease, pest resistant, easy to grow, blooms really, really fast, makes a great income plant. Beautiful, delicate greenery with cobalt blue flowers. Oh well, like I said, I could talk about these for hours. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about the blue butterfly pea. Till we speak again, have a fantastic day.